I want to show you how the bones of the upper arm and the forearm work in doing Tai-Chi movements. Ideal Tai-Chi movements, in my opinion. So here are the bones of the arm. This is what's called the humerus, E-R-U-S, H-U-M-E-R, U-S, not humorous like a joke. Although this is called, for that reason, a funny bone. And this end of it this is the shoulder end, is a ball and socket joint. So it can swivel, can just turn about its axis, the bone's axis, or the bone can move in any direction in an arc, with the elbow going in a circle. So this has all the possible motions. The elbow joint is a hinge joint. It's a hinge joint. And the hand end, the wrist end, is also a hinge joint. So how does that work? If you look at the bones of the forearm, there are, by the way, this is a right arm. So the palm is now facing me, as it would if I were holding my arm up this way. And when it does so, notice the two bones are parallel of the forearm. The lower bone is called that's the one that pivots, is called the ulna, and the upper one is called the radius. Now this end of the ulna can only hinge. The other end has a pivot point where it can swivel. So the hand can swivel, but it can only do that with strength and still pivot if the other end of the elbow end of the radius also has a swivel. This end is the hinge end for the hand. So one end is a hinge end of this top bone, the other end of the bottom bone is a hinge end, and also the pivot points are on opposite ends. So it's a very useful arrangement. 4 billion years of evolution can't be dismissed. So now there are two ways that you can rotate your hand. One way is to use just the forearm, and you can almost get 180 degrees by doing that. But I find that when I do that without moving my elbow, when I rotate my hand 180 degrees, when I get to both extremes, I feel a lot of tension. I'm way past the point where I can do that using Neijin, which is expansive strength. That is much more limited than contractive strength, where I can pull and pull. So I don't want to do that. However, if I rotate my upper arm, my humerus, notice that as the elbow comes up, the palm rotates to down, whereas here it's facing me. Now it's palm down. It's rotated 90 degrees if I rotate my upper arm 90 degrees. So the ideal movement would be to use the two of those. So for example, in the single whip, when the arm comes up, the elbow is low, the palm is facing me. And as I turn my body and turn my hand out, notice how the elbow came up to help. So I don't have to use all of this to that extreme. And the classics say, the Taiji classics say, when one part moves, all parts move, which means that all parts should participate appropriately. And why just move one part and have the other part frozen? By opening this, by lifting this arm, you are opening all of this area. And by doing so, it saves you from having to rotate the forearm. Thank you.